let me tell you what we got going on today. I got to forge out another Norse kukri, Norse Khopesh. I always get the names mixed up. And I wanted you guys to see what it's like. So I'll set you up next to the anvil. I'll try and answer some questions from time to time, wherever I can. But it's going to be a little bit loud. And I don't know if anyone's going to want to watch this or not, but we're going to find out together. Maybe you can hear me. I don't know. Here we go. Right there. Front row seats, baby. So let's go. Grab the steel and start hammering. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to establish that tip. Hey, William. Good to see you, man. We're going to establish that tip. Cut. We grab the steel. I already got it cut and angled. I just hot cut it like that. And now we want to round it off a little bit so it's ready to draw out that hook. Now what I'm going to do for the hook is hang it over and hammer it here so that it pushes that material over, and then we'll draw out that hook a little more. But I don't want to hammer it too cold. Now, what I wish I could do, I wish I'd be able to get a shot of the whole forge. Maybe I can, actually. Let's see. Ooh, that looks good. All right. Hey, the lighting's better too, natural lighting. Let's try this. We're gonna forge out that Khopesh, and now you can see a little better. The forge is still heating up. I just started a couple minutes ago, but special thanks to my wife. She made me a nice coffee. See how it's already pushing it down? And now that I have it established, I like to use the horn of the anvil as well, which is a little bit softer and puts less of a step in it. But we also need to make sure we hammer that down, because as you hammer it here, it likes to mushroom. See, someone else. Hey! Yeah, well, I don't normally forge live. I make it look better with editing. So today you can see what really happens. That's the thing. I've had some people complain, you know, watching forged in fire because, well, it's not accurate. I'm like, well, yeah, but that's kind of the point, because you can't have 3 hours of just back and forth hammering and keep people entertained. But I guess we're testing that today. It's ugly, but it's coming along. had a hand on the grinder the other day. I just lost my Band-Aid. It's alright. While we're at it, I'll show you my anvil stand. I just finished it up, just a bunch of 4x4s, and then I made room with a leather belt for all my gear. Quick access. Oh yeah. It's probably ready now. Let's check. Now I want to draw that hook out a little bit. Now it's kind of misshapen and ugly. That's all right, because we drew that out and we're pulling it down. So that we can turn it into that Khopesh hook soon. But I keep talking, it keeps cooling off. Plus, my anvil hasn't gotten hot yet, so it still kind of sucks out that heat. But the more we work, the more that anvil heats up. Comment, this is perfect background. Yes! You think I should do this kind of live more often? Alright, that's good to know. It's hard to tell what everybody wants. I bought a new forge. This one I made myself, but it's just slowly falling apart. So I actually bought the house-made forge. It's the one that Jason Knight uses, and it's coming soon. So I'll keep you guys updated on that as well. Anyway, welcome, yeah. I'm just trying live work to see how it goes. I'm making a Khopesh. Exactly. I got a bunch of these orders. And we've been sick a little bit with a little bit of a cold. So we'll see how my stamina is today, but we'll live. All right, she's ready. How long did it take me, comments by the way, how long did it take me to make my first sell-worthy piece? Well, that depends. on perspective. If I were to go by now, I'd say I still haven't. If I were to go by earlier, I was making for about a year before I sold anything, and even then, I sold it to a friend for $100. And it did all right. I liked it. Do you usually use leaf spring for your blades? No, not usually. But for the larger ones, like this Khopesh that I'm working on, it's very, very good. 5160 steel, and it's a basic shape. But if I'm doing Damascus or anything like that, I just use the raw material. But yeah, as for selling, it took me a while. I got too focused on selling, and I lost joy of the craft for a while. But that was years ago. I'm back. Echo, turn it down to 3. Good Lord. Okay, let's show you this for a second. If it makes it look like all I'm doing is hammering the same thing over and over, what we're doing is we're establishing the tip. So let me get something to point with. How about a file? So what are we doing? This guy. We stretch this out into a tip, and there's this fat here that I'm stretching out more, and we forge out this little fin. But as you'll notice, that's not a hook, and this is still a very wide piece of steel. What is it? That's like 2 1/4 inches wide, or 2 inches wide, a little over 2 inches wide. Too much. That'll make for a very heavy blade. So what we're going to do is, once we establish this tip a little more, then we're going to lay it down like so. Can you see? Yeah. And we're going to hammer here, which will bring this down, make the hook more prominent, and stretch it. Then we'll flatten it out. Then we'll forge out the bevels, which will curve it and give us that look. And then we'll work on the tang, which is a little trickier, but a lot of fun. So it's still very loud. Echo, bro, turn it down to like 2. Anyways, okay, quick comments. Glad you like that. William, there are some brake drums. I have to pay for disposal. Oh, by the way, brake drums, that's how I did my first coal forge. So if I were to recommend for you, build that coal forge, put a grate on the bottom so that you can empty out the ash and all that stuff, and then a series of pipes with a catch for the ash and whatnot at the bottom, and then have a little T that leads to a blow dryer or a blower or something. Blow dryer would work, but a blower would work better, so that it feeds the brake drum, if that's all you're doing. I did that with my first one, and I just put it on a big thing of bricks. It was perfect. Super cheap way to build a forge. All right, let's get back to forging. Okay. Yeah, I slowed down quite a bit to talk. But, oh yeah, Here's another mention. The here, I'll take you out for this part. While that heats up, I'll tell you about the Raven Spear. Some of you may know that, you know, I'm a wannabe author, which I'm not. I was working on a book, and then I got pretty spread thin there. As a father and a husband and a bladesmith, so I decided to focus. So instead, to get out that smithing, or that wordsmithing itch, I decided to start doing some of my orders as short stories. So I just finished that Raven Spear. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's on my shorts and whatnot. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, I did a short story to that, and it's coming out Monday. I don't know. It's a little cringy to hear my voice because I'm not very good at storytelling, but it's a start. You got to start somewhere, and I think you guys, you might like it, you might not. If it's a complete bomb, I'll only do it from time to time, but if it kind of takes off a little bit, then I'll do more orders with a bit of a story to it. My Tank Tolman order that I have coming, he ordered a knife and 2 axes. I'm going to do some sort of a thing for that. I just haven't decided what yet. All right, let's check the steel. She's ready. Okay. Now, she's roughed out. You see we got rid of that flat. So now we'll lay it down and start forging it this way. Stretch it out, draw out that hook more, and then we'll do the bevels. Okay, let's see. Comments. Storytelling. Let's see, comments. Storytelling along with new items is a great idea. Out of curiosity, could you manually heat up the anvil with a torch or something to help with the anvil sucking out the heat? Very good question. Yes, we can. Sometimes I'll do that with a large plate and then just set it on there, and that helps quite a bit. But what I ended up doing for this one is I got kind of focused on doing the live, so no, I didn't do it this time. And then another comment. Let's try a second chance. Hey, William, I'll follow you, man. I didn't know you did that. Good to know. Everything in names what you make. Also, people want to try it. I name almost everything I make, the bigger stuff, not, you know, like hunting knives, because I love to do that. As for resources for people wanting to try it, I'm starting something, Northfire Forge, so that other people can join and learn. So, bird's the word. Stay tuned. Alright, like we said, lay it down. I'm changing angles. You can see hammer here. Don't hit the horn if you can help it. Don't hit the hook if you can help it, I meant to say. Now it mushrooms out every time. We gotta layer down. Do this, but then I'll put more deformation on the edge. I don't really want to do that yet. If I were to forge it like that, then it would put more mushrooming on the cutting edge, and that makes it a little difficult for me, because then it takes more hammering to flatten it out better along the cutting edge so that I can forge the bevels. So, I don't know if that makes any sense. But that's that. And just for fun, I made myself a hatchet for camping. Some of you may recognize. I was going to sell it. I actually had it listed, but then I changed the handle because I wanted this instead. Anyway, let's hammer. See, it's working. We're thinning this out and we're stretching out the bar. So here's one thing. Ooh, again, forgive me, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm kind of fatigued a little bit. Here's one thing that's not necessary, but I've learned is kind of nice. Having a lot of different hammers. You can see my wife's shop. See those little twinkly lights? That's her shop. She's a silversmith. She's working today. Baby's down for a nap. Mom and Dad went out to get some money. It's an interesting life. Anyway, I switch between hammers a lot. You don't have to do it. You could do everything with one hammer, maybe two, but you can get a lot. What's my beard doing? You can get a lot of progress, and you start to learn each individual hammer. They all do different things for you. They all act in different ways. Some you want that close radius rounding. Some you want flat. Some you want the cross peen. Some you want the straight peen. You just collect hammers. Come on. Hold still. It's wanting to wiggle a little bit, but that's fine. We'll straighten her out. The great thing about smithing, when you know what you're doing, the smith is the one in control. Why do I like to clean off the scale? Because that pop. Oh yeah. What's up, Sean? How you doing, man? Yep, Trevor Avenue. I like to clean off that scale, because man, that stuff pops. And it hits you in the arm, and that hurts. Yeah, Sean. Even with kids, man, still hitting that gym, still keeping it strong as much as I can. I'm trying. No comment. I try to leave. Have to leave live. Gotta cut it. All right, man. I'm gonna post it live to my channel later, so you can watch the rest after that. half an inch. Let's keep going. So the interesting thing, let's get one in there. The interesting thing is that as you thin it out or stretch it out and make that blade less tall, what ends up happening is you're then gonna forge out the bevels, which will stretch it and curve it, which will make it tall again. So when you're making it shorter, you actually need to overcompensate and allow for the bevels to be forged out. So I shoot for about 1/4 inch, depending on this particular build. I shoot for about 1/4 inch. So, I don't know. I like the technical, more organic kind of stuff. Now the forge is getting pretty hot, so we're already back up to heat. So, here's another thing. There's not a whole lot of rules, per se, in smithing. More just guidelines. The reason I say that, stamina is low today. Every blow you do with the hammer, you get the opposite force on the bottom from the anvil. So I'll say you only want to hammer it right like this, but then you'll see me do the opposite of that. The reason is because every single blow does something different. So if I flip it around and do it on the bottom, hammer it from the other side, it's usually because a piece is flaring out and I want that, maybe it's the flat of the anvil I want to establish, and without having to worry about hitting the hook or whatever. That's what I did in that last heat. It all depends. So you'll hear me say certain things as a rule, and then I'll do the opposite of that. It's usually because, like with any trade or craft, there's exceptions. Now the blade's probably already warmed up again now that the forge is nice and hot. So I may just stick to it and do less talking. Look at that. Very nice. Too excited. Don't hammer wrong. Get yourself a dent. Now look towards the hook, you'll see a little bit of a flare. That's why I lay it down. And it helps get rid of that flare and flatten it out. Woo! Okay. Ooh, baby. Okay, my dad always says rules are made to be learned in order to know when to bend to break them. Yes, exactly. I'm going to steal that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to be able to go for too much longer I feel my stamina leaching out today with this cold I'm fighting. Sorry. So I'll finish establishing the basic shape, and then I'll probably bow out. That shape coming along well. Woo. Huh? Now, I'm actually going to flip it around and hammer from this side for a little bit, stretch that more. And as you can see, we got a long way to go. That's okay, I can do that. Yeah, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. You guys are pretty cool, I gotta say that. I'm just some guy doing something, and I get a lot of support. I appreciate you guys. 30-minute live, this is the longest one I've ever done. Anyways, enough yapping. We have to pull these off. That's a basic idea. I'll let that warm up for a sec. Forge out that blade, and then it's tricky because you gotta lay it down, forge out the tang, and then lay it down and forge out that tang to get a nice clean shape. I try to do 90% of it to shape as possible because I don't really like using the grinder too much. I mean, I do, but I don't do full traditional, but I like to go mostly traditional, if that makes any sense. Now that's a good heat. Those reasons why I give people who say I'll show you. I have this listed for $22.50, and I've gotten a number of comments where people tell me that it's a ridiculous price. And I get it, but respectfully, I just don't think they understand all that's involved in making it. I mean, I've been doing this live for 35 minutes, and I barely even have the shape. you know? So, well, that's all right. Those who do purchase from me, they've funded all of this. We are the only income for my family. And I got 2 kids, a dog, a cat, a wife, business. So, if it's not for them, that's fine. I'm actually not bothered by it. I understand. There are smudges on a canvas that sell for 11 million. You will never convince me that that art is worth 11 million. Just like I'll never convince other people that mine is worth 22.50 or whatever, you know? Maybe I should. Whoa, we're good. Maybe I should list it for 11 million. Who knows? Hey, stay in there. Like that. That was a good heat. Look at all that progress we just made. That's a good one. Now I could take it to the press and do that and cut this down to 1/4 of the time, but that's not much fun. Without a power hammer, that's a lot of work. Started. Yes. Once you actually start doing it, it's a lot different. Power hammer would be nice. I want to get a power hammer, absolutely. But I'm in this shop. You can tell. It's a great shop, but it doesn't have a concrete base. So the issue with that, it can't support. It can't support big machinery like that. We would have to move. And we might need to, because the business keeps growing. And a power hammer would be fun. That was a good heat too. Okay, we're doing good. So I gotta take off for a bit. I'm gonna go get some liquids, rest up a little. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Actually, no, we gotta get to 40 minutes. I got 9 seconds. Stay tuned. I got a lot of cool stuff coming. I think it's cool. Hopefully you think it's cool. See you guys.